Okay, in last session we discussed about parameters, cascading parameters, multi-value parameters, and how to pass values to the parameters, and many more things about parameters. And we also discussed about calculated columns like the dummy we created here. You can see this is the calculated column we created. You can see here some expression we have given like is equal to 2. So it will show 2. And this is also calculated column where we are taking the sales amount into 2. Okay. Now let's see a couple of built-in fields or global variables we call it as. Today we discuss about that, and we'll discuss about page header and page footer. Now this report, it looks good. You select the values, the look and feel of the report is good. So this is the report. The look and feel is good, but in real-time cases, people will look for, users will look for page headers and footers. Now let's see how to add that footer and header for a report. For that, you have to go to the report, right click, add page header option to add page header, and add page footer to add footer to the report. If I click on add page header, then the option is changed to remove page header. So that means you can add only one page header, and at the same in the same way you can add one page footer. This is your page footer. Always you can remove it, or always you can remove the page header. This is how you can add page headers and page footers. Let me add page header first. Now this is my page header. How this works and what's the use of this page header? Let's say I have a text box. I added a text box to this, and let me drag it to the left. Adventure Works report, and I'm making it bold. I've given good enough size for that. Okay. Now let me see the preview. I've taken clothing, select all, and select all. So this is how your page header works. So whatever you have given in the page header will repeat in all the pages. Now I have selected only clothing. Let me select accessories where I have data, and hence many pages will be returned in the report. So we can see the same page header repeating in all the pages. Here it is, the report got generated, and for this one too we have very less data, so it is not going to the next page. Let me take okay, let me do one thing. Let me remove these filters for testing this page header and all. Or else let me make this parameter as multi-value option. So this is the first place where I have to change when I'm converting a single value parameter to multi-value, and this value has been used in subcategory dataset. This should be in and for the main data set also you are going to send more than one value, and this is fine. Here we handled in a proper way. Now the report is generated, and you can see the reporting has something around, okay, it has 3 pages, and all the 3 pages, the text box value, the adventure works report, what you have given in the text box in the page header is repeating. In the same way, you can take what, I mean, you can design your page header as per your requirements. Let's say few reports will have a name like this, and images on the right hand side which has to be repeated on every page, or few reports will have information like this. On the right hand side they will maintain the contact address and phone number. Like this. So once you set anything in the page header, the same thing will be repeated in all the pages. And you can add images also by taking this image, and here once you add image, it will ask for a name of, it will ask for the name of the image. Let's give some valid name. And do you want any tooltip? I want to show it as ADV RPT IMG image. Do you want this one to be pulled from database is one option, external source is another option, and embedded. Embedded is the one we, I mean, it will embed it into the report. Let me check for any image available. Let's say this one, and size you can set. And now here you can see a image file is inserted into the header, and if you run the report, the same thing will be repeated. And this is very bad image I inserted. I don't have any good images to insert, so let's read this one as example. Sample one. You can see the image here on the page header, and the phone and fact details what we have given is repeating in all the pages. So this is how, I mean, keep one thing in mind. Designing proper header and footer is as important as designing a report. They will directly export this report into any one of these formats, and they will share it with the end users. So it is always important to design the page header in a proper way. Now this is how you can add the page header, and this is how these are all the items that you can add. This is line item. Line item is useful to draw the line. It will give a good look. I mean, this is the end of the header, and at the end of the header people used to give lines, and this one will give this one will say that this is the end of the header, and next the following this line is report. Okay, and in the same way you can add footer. Generally in footer people used to see how many pages are there and what's the page number and what's the current date and all, what's the report execution date and all. So we have some built-in fields for that. Fields nothing but columns for that. Let's say this is the execution time. You drag and drop this to the footer, it will give you the execution time of the report. To make the report retrieval simple, I am deleting the group here. It is taking a lot of time. Let me delete the group and even this category here. I'm just modifying the report. Don't worry much about it now. Okay, this is our report now. I have only English product name in my row groups, and in column groups I don't want this bullish. Okay, let me delete this column and take them. Okay, now I have a very simple report which is easy to retrieve. English product name and sales amount. Okay, now let's see how this footer and header looks. Here you can see the line what we have drawn here, and the image what we set in the header, and you can see the footer. This report is generated at 9 of July 2012 at 12:30 server time. Okay, this is how the footer and the header works. And there are so many built-in fields that you can use as part of your header or footer. And one among those is this is the page number, and this is the total pages. Generally, we will see like this. This is page number of so-and-so page. If you design it like this one will give me the page number, and this one will give me the total pages present in this report, and I can give simply of one of total pages or two of total pages. If this is the page number, the output of this one is page number, and the output of this one is total pages, and I can set it as some X of total pages, Y of total pages, and that. And this field will give you the who is the user generated the report, and language, report server URL, what's the URL, report server one, what's the report name, and what's the folder, in which folder this report is deployed and all. So these are all the built-in functions which will help us in designing the report to find out who ran the report and what time he generated the report, and how many pages are present, and what's the total count of pages. So generally you can see all these fields in footer of any report. So these built-in fields are very useful in designing the footer. So now let's see 3 of total pages 3, and if I go back, this one will become 2. Sorry, I click on control and it is going to the page end. So if you see, this is 2 of page 3. If I go back, it will be page 1 of total pages 3. So this is how you can define your header and footer. Let me make the point clear. You can add the page header and footer using this option by right clicking on the empty area, and once you add the report, you have these options. You can insert either a text box, line, rectangle. Text box and rectangle are one almost it acts in the same way, and an image. If you want any text, you can use either text box or rectangle, and if you want to draw a line margin, then you can go with the line, and image to add images to the page header and footer. And this is how using this option you can remove the page header. And there are a couple of properties given in the for the page header. First one is display page header, and if you uncheck this, it is not going to come. And page print on first page, print on last page, and fill. All these things are the border lines and all. You can set it whether you want a dotted one, dashed one, or double thickness. And you can set the width of that one and the color of the page header border. Okay. Now let me remove these two things and let me design a simple report. Let me remove this. I'm taking a matrix and I'm gonna add English product. Now see this, I mean, till now, whenever I select this option, it was showing the fields that were present. Now it is showing two different things. One is matrix underscore ds and data source 1 underscore ds. This is because I have now two data sources defined. One is matrix underscore ds, another one is data source 1. Okay. Earlier, when we work on this tabular and matrix report, there was only one data set defined. And if there is only one data set, then the source for my report will be that particular data set. I have no other option that time. Now I have many options. I can take data set 1 as my source, 2 as my source, subcategory as my source, category DS as my source, and product DS as my source. That's why when I click on this, it is asking for from where you want to get the data, matrix data source or data source 1. In data source 1, there is no data sets available. You can see on the left hand side bottom. This is the data source 1 and there is no data sets available, and that's why it is asking create a new data set. And in matrix underscore ds, there are so many data sets available, data set 1 and 2, 3, subcategory, data category ds and product. Now I want to get data from data set 1. So when I put my cursor on top of that, then it will display all the fields that are present in that particular data set. Now I selected English product name from that list. Okay. Here when I click on that, it is gonna show the columns of that particular data set what I selected earlier. Every time it is not gonna ask for the same procedure like selecting the data set and all. Once I selected any column in the report like this, now I selected English product name here. If I select one column, then if you go and see the data set properties of this, here F4, if I press F4, I can see these properties. Somewhere here you can see the data set name. Data set name will be set to data set 1. And hence, for other columns, it will show only the fields from the data set 1. Let's say I want to show sales amount here. No formatting, nothing. Let it be simple. Let me take it sales amount. and I don't want this. Okay, let it be in bold. That's all nothing. Okay, this is a simple report. I selected sales amount, but if I right click and go to expression, you can see something else like fields, exclamation mark, sales amount dot value. What it means? Fields is the collection. What are all the fields we have in the data set? Fields. This is the syntax we have to follow. This is the column name dot value. So value of this particular column name in this field list. Okay, and you have some other options like this color and blah blah blah. Now let's concentrate on value. What it will do is it will fetch the value from the um, data set. We call this one as expression. Expression is very important one in SSRS. The complete thing depends on expression. For example, we created a data column here, calculated field, using some expression. This is an expression. Fields of sales amount dot value into 2. In the same way, you can add the same, you can modify the expression here. Into 2 will give the same value as what we have done in the data set level. So now we're going to discuss a lot about these expressions, and it is gonna, I mean, it's completely SSRS is dependent on these expressions. Let's see whether this report works or not. First of all, as expected, I mean, we added, we modified the expression. We have done multiplication to the value. Now this is how you can generate the report. I mean, you can use the expressions here. You can multiply or you can divide or you can do whatever you want to the values. Now let's see a couple of things how to work with expressions. I'm adding a new column. How to add a new column? You have to click on the column and insert column, inside the group and outside the group, either on the left side or right side. What is group here? Before going to adding the new columns and expressions, let's discuss about the groups. Now I have products selected on row and sales amount. If you run the query in the database, it is going to retrieve so many products. So many product wise sales amount. Let me run the query for the same what we are generating SSRS report and see how it generates the report. I mean, retrieves the data in SQL Server, and how we are getting the data in SSRS report, and what's the difference and why it is. Now this is the query to retrieve the data from database. Select sales amount and English product name from fact internet sales, call it as A, inner join bin product, let me alias it as B, on A dot product key is equal to B dot product. If I execute this, I'm getting some 60,000 records. Here you can see at the bottom 60,398 records, and you can see, let me order by English product name, and you can see same value coming again and again. It has data, the same product got sold so many times. So every time in transaction the data will be maintained in transaction table, and hence it is repeating again and again. To achieve the same report here, let me remove the group here first. This is a straightforward report like what we generated in Excel, in SQL Server. Sales amount, and let me remove this expression and make it as just column. First, let's see how this report looks and compare it with SQL Server output. Okay, this is the report generated. I don't have anything, no header, no row group, no column group, nothing. So, and you can see the number of pages is 1373. There are that many number of pages, and in the database also you can see 60,000 records. That means there are something around 60 records per page, something around that. Okay. Now you can see mountain 100, silver 44 is repeated so many times, and everything is getting repeated. Why? Because the sales is there, so many transactions are there, and that's why it is repeating again and again. How you will see the sales? I mean, how you can avoid this repetition. So if you want to find out all product bike stand, you have to sum the amount, and then you can have a single record for the sales amount. Let's say I have 100 records with sales amount 10 per record, and all the 100 are same transaction, same product. Now if I want to see what's the total of the product, it will be 100 into 10, $1,000 for that particular product. In the same way, here we will use group by English product name, and what you want to do for the amount. I want to sum the amount. You can take max of the amount, you can take min of the amount, but here the scenario, if you want to get the value, complete product sales, then you have to take the sum. And now if you see for all products bike stand, there is only one record, and the value that is coming is the total of the records that we have for all products bike stand in the same way, and the total number of records you can see it's 130 records. This is the group by in SQL Server. How to do the same in SSRS? That's what we are going to discuss, and let's go back and see how to group this English group by English product name. So here you have a details here. What you have to do is add group parent to this one, and that is English product name. Okay, this one will get generated, and you don't need this column anymore. Why? Because you have that information in the group now. This is your English product name, and this is your sales amount, and you are asking the server, SSRS server, to group by English product name, and you can see it here by going and seeing the group property. See, this is where you are mentioning that group by English product name, and you can give some name for this, or simply product group. Now it will group by English product name, and let's see whether it works or not. So the row group in SSRS will work as group by statement in SQL Server. So SQL Server, if I give group by English product name, it will be what we are going to get now as part of this SSRS report execution, like this. Yeah, an error. It is grouping by all bike stands. Here, all-purpose bike stand is grouped, but the value is still showing as 159. Why? Because we are asking it to show the value of sales amount instead of sum of sales amount. Now it will sum and it will group, it will retrieve the data. This is how it comes if you group by English product name in SSRS. It is same as what we got here. You can see the values and everything is matching when compared with SQL Server group by. And if you want to group by one more thing in database, what you are going to do is, let's say you want to group by category and English product name. Then you should have that one in select statement and in group by statement in SQL Server concepts. So, and you have to join that table too. Or let's say you want to group by English product name, comma, color. So I'm gonna give the same here. Color wise and English product name wise, it is gonna give me the information. Okay. Now let's see the same here, how to do that. This is my group and I want to add one more group. Parent group that is, and that is color. So that's it. If I select this, it is gonna group by color and English product name and gonna give the same result as what you're seeing here. This is how you can work on SSRS groups, row groups in particularly. And in the same way, if you see, some cases you want to group by columns. For example, let's see how the values will split up if you have a category in my column group. For example, as you know, in SSRS is a very good tool which provides me the best way of analyzing the business. You can group by rows, you can group by columns, you can swap this, you can slice, you can dice the data, and you can play with the data. It has so many features, and the same feature should be available in SSRS if I want to make full use of SSRS. So for that, in SSRS you have an option of row group and column group, and the same should be available in SSRS, or else I cannot make SSRS as my data source. So in SSRS also have that option of group by column. Now this is SSRS solution output, and here this is the detailed information like sales amount, what were dragged in used in SSRS reports, and we used the product in our row group, and color too. So let me drag color here, and then English product name. This is grouping. It is grouping by each color. Now let's see how this column grouping works. Let me drag product category, and this is grouping by category column wise. Accessories will have values only for accessories. This is an accessory, that's why it has value. And bikes is one group, clothing is one group, and this is the total, overall total. This is how, you can group by columns, or simply you can see You can product by, you can group by currency. Whatever the dimension values you have, you can use it to group and see the data. This is row column grouping, and the left hand side one is row grouping. In the same way, we have an option of row group and column group in the SSRS too. Now this is row group wise, and we can add a column group here. In a second, advanced more. Here, if you select this option, parent group, and if you select English product category name, a group will be created here on the column groups. Here you have to right click, add group. Here you can see the column groups and select the parent group, and the group will be created with the column you provided, that is English product category name. And you can name the group. Once you create the group, here you can see the same column got created. English product category name. And you don't need the sales amount anymore. This is just a column header. Let me delete that, and the data will look, this is the structure. Now you added a couple of columns to the row group and one column to the column group, one field to the column group. Now let's see how the report looks. There should be, it should group the data based on rows, what we provided, the fields we provided for the row group, and the fields we provided for the column group. It should be very much similar to the output what we have seen in SSRS now. So here you can see color wise every product, and accessories, bikes, and the last one is clothing. So this is column wise grouping and this is row wise grouping, and you can see the data column wise and row wise splitting up like this. Now, as I told you, this is not mandatory. You don't need to have all this headache of creating these groups and all. Mainly when you're working on any matrix format, any reports where you need grouping, then it's better and simple to go with matrix format. So matrix format will help you in defining the groups easily. Here you can see rows, here you can see columns, and the third one is data. It's very much similar to the screen what we have seen here. This is for data, and this is for rows, and this is for columns. And one extra is there, that is for filters. Anyhow, we have parameters there to filter in SSRS. So this is very much close. This control is very much, this toolbox item is very much close to the SSRS output, and this helps us in defining the row groups and column groups easily, faster, and without having any headache of defining and giving the values and altering the values and all. Let's see how easy is creating row groups here. Select this, and there is only one data set you can see. That's why it is directly showing the fields. My intention is to create the column color group one first thing, and next thing is you have to come here, add group, child to this color. Click on that and select the column. This is English product name what I want to add, and column groups I want to group by category. And what the data I want to show is sales amount. That's it. Both are same, one and the same. The second table and the first table will retrieve the same data. Okay, and this is the column names. You can keep it or you can remove it if you don't want. Okay, let me show the output now. This is as simple as this, creating a row group and column group when you have a matrix format. When you have a table format report, when you have selected the table and if you want to add row groups and column groups manually, then it's unnecessary headache on the developer. Okay, now it generated both the reports, and if you see the end page, it went to 7th page, and till 3rd page, I think you can see the first report. Yeah, here it ends. Here it ends. Let me scroll down, and from here it is going to start a fresh one what we have created using matrix format, and both looks the same and the same output will be retrieved. So remember this, whenever you have to define groups, whenever you want to group the data based on any column, like we define group by columns in our SQL server, then go with matrix format, or if you want a simple straightforward tabular output as is, then go with the table control. Now let's see. Okay, I have a header for this. I'm adding header, page header, and I want to see if I have a parameter. I want to show this parameter is selected, and this report is the output of the parameter, so and so parameter selected. And let's see how to do that, how to achieve that requirement. That is pretty useful one, and that will be asked by clients in most of the scenarios. For that, I have to create a couple of parameters. Let me add a couple of data sets first. This data source is fine. Select star from dim product. Oops, there are so many columns. Okay, let it be. And adding one more for select star from dim product category. And the third one for subcategory. Okay, fine. All the 3 data sets created, and I'm gonna add parameters for these 3. Let's say first one product. Sorry, let's start with category. Allow multiple values is fine. Available values I'll get it from query. Data set 1 category is 3rd one. Product category and English product category. Fine. Let me add a couple of parameters for remaining things. Subcategory. Subcategory. Allow multiple values to true and get the values, and the data set is 4. Value field is product subcategory and English product category subcategory. Let me add one more for product. Allow multiple values true, available values, let's say data set 2, product key and English product. Now I have 3 parameters. Whenever I run the report, I'm gonna see these 3 parameters. I have to select this. And these 3 are not interrelated, like cascading parameters we discussed in last session. These 3 are straightforward. I have to select this. If I select bikes alone, it is not gonna filter out and show the subcategories that belongs to this bikes category. Okay, the spelling is mistake for subcategory. Let me change that. And one more thing I want to make it clear that we have filters. Our intention is to show that in report header that I selected this filter. So I'm not adding this filter condition to my data set. Even though I selected some categories, some subcategory values and some product values, the resultant set will be full data. I'm not filtering based on the parameters. So this demo is just to show how to add parameter values to the header. Now let's see how to add. You can add it to header or you can add it to report. Let's see how to add to header first. I'm taking a text box. And you can use any of the built-in functions like execution time, page number and all, and you can find the same execution function, built-in functions when you go to expressions button here. You can see the same built-in functions here. You can either choose from there or choose from here. And now our intention is to show what parameter is selected and how uh, what are all the parameters selected to generate this particular report. Here you have a whole category called parameters. When you select the parameters, you can see category, subcategory and product. These are all the three parameters we have. Let me select this category and you can see the value of 0. Okay, let it be like that. And now let me run the report. I'm selecting all for categories and all for subcategories and all for products. If you see, it is showing as 1. The reason behind this one is just for the sake of execution, report execution, to improve the performance of the report execution, I am removing this table. I have only header here. Why it is showing 1? If you go to the expression, it is taking the value. Okay. In parameters, I selected the value as product category key, and that's why it is showing the key value. Now how to show the label? Come here and select the label. Now if I click on preview, I have only header. Remember, I don't have any matrix report or tabular report, so that the report execution will be faster as we are showing this demo for displaying parameter values. Now it is showing error. It has so many values. It's multi-valued parameter, and hence it is showing error. Now how to get the values? We have to join it. Okay, and you need to have a delimiter. What the delimiter you want to have between each values? If you see the expression, it's join of these parameters dot category. I'll get this category from here. Category dot label, comma, what's the separator you need to have between each category value that got selected. Just a second. Now if you see, the bikes, comma, components, comma, clothing, comma, accessories are shown. Okay, the comma is the separator that I have given, and these are all the values. Now let's see how the header can be designed with single value. I don't want to have all this stuff here. How to design the header here? Expression in double quotes, adventure works report for, after this concatenation, categories and Again, I'm gonna take the same thing. I have to repeat if I want to show labels. Join of, it's a multi-valued parameter, and this time I'm giving different delimiter. Let me give this plus sub categories. You see this adventure works report for, I will get the category names here, so and so, so and so, so and so categories, and so and so, so and so, so and so subcategories. Let's see how it is gonna. I'm gonna take it to the top till the end, and let me bold it. I can bold and see, and let me increase the size of it to 12. I've not given the product information. Why? Because we will get some hundreds of products. Now, if you see Adventure Works report for bikes, components, clothing, accessories, categories, and mountain bikes, tilt. I've given this delimiter. You can give whatever you want. Road bikes and so on, so on, so on, and tubes subcategories. So this is how you can make use of parameter value in your either in header or in footer or in your report area also. It's not mandatory that these parameters should be used in header or footer. And we can do so many magics with this expression. For example, I have two columns. One is I have a pyramid. Let's say I have two kinds of reports. One is summary report, another one is detailed report. If it is summary report, I can display some 3 columns. If it is detailed report, I can display 10 columns. I can hide it by changing the expression of the visibility. So everything in SSRS, if you see, let me go here and show you some examples where all we are using these expressions. Let's say I am going here. Here you can use expression to give the name. And in page breaks, in sorting, you can give expression. Fx means expression. And in visibility, you can use expression. And in filters, you can use expression. And wherever you go, the same expression box will come again and again. So you can control the complete appearance of the report using these expressions. And there is a lot more to learn about expressions, how to filter and how to show the data and how to sort the data based on expressions, which we will discuss in the next class. And so this expressions is very important and the heart of this SSRS development. And that's it. This is how we can add headers, we can add footers, how we can add different items like line, text box, or image to the header and footer, and how can we make use of these built-in fields to show the data in headers and footers, and how what is these row groups and column groups and what's the use of these two, and how to define that manually and using matrix format. And in next session we are gonna work completely on expressions, only expressions, and catch you in next session.